throughout this campaign, so no surprise to see he's gone with an unchanged side that started that 3-3 draw with Sydney FC. Importantly, not the same side that finished it, conceding those 2 goals in stoppage time. It means Stefan Mork, who's scored in each of his last 3 matches, that's a career first. He continues in midfield. And Archie Goodwin, finally fit and injury-free, starts a 4th match in a row. That is also a career first. He has 3 in his last 2. But an ever-present this season, Ryan Kitto. He scored 16 A-League goals for the Reds. The last came back in April 2023. He did score against Western Sydney, the winner in the Cup earlier this season. 5 of his 16 have come against the Western Sydney Wanderers. That's nearly a third of all his goals, including the last time they won here against Western Sydney at Coopers. For Alen Stajic, he's made 2 changes from the side that trounced the Phoenix 4-1 last weekend. Goal scorers Božidar Krajev and Zach Sapsford both dropped to the bench, replaced by Oscar Priestman's first start since the derby, and Marcus Antonsen, who has 3 goals off the bench this season. It's his first start of the campaign. Up front, Milanovic and Borello, their top scorers, lead the line. Juan Mata has to once again settle for a place on the bench. There is Nick Milanovic with his 5 goals so far this season. He has 17 in 56 for Western Sydney. Another one, and he will move ahead of Tommy Juric in the Western Sydney Wanderers scoring charts. There is Carl Veert. He is the currently longest serving A-League coach with his club, in his 4th full season at the helm of Adelaide United. Alongside him, Mark Milligan there. Alen Stajic, well, he's also a vastly experienced coach, but taking over at Western Sydney just this season. This is his 8th match in charge. That's still more than Daniel Cook, our referee, just his 6th match in the A-League, and the first time that he referees either of this evening's opponents. Well, the full house signs are up outside Coopers Stadium this evening. Great to see. They are packed in all around the ground. The Christmas cheer is present, and they'll be hoping for some more gifts from the men in red. We are underway. Adelaide looking for a first home win in more than 7 years against the Western Sydney Wanderers. A win that would see them move provisionally top of the table. But Andy Harper, the Wanderers, have found some form of late and are looking to climb up the table themselves.
Yeah, good evening, Robbie. It's a really entertaining game that lies in wait this evening. Adelaide just so consistent year in, year out, but a win tonight, they can exceed even most recent history and top the table by the end of tonight. The Wanderers, I think as you rightly say, gathering some impressive steam, which does set tonight's game up, you know, really, really well. Great way to start this round of football.
Milanovic sliding behind Barnett, looking for the free kick, and he gets it. Just about directly in front, nearly 30 metres out from goal. We've seen some early goals. Zach Sapsford scored inside a minute for the Western Sydney Wanderers last weekend. We've had more goals in the A-League inside the opening 11 minutes of matches than in any other previous season of the Australian top flight, going all the way back to 1977. So are we going to have another early start here from Borello, looking to repeat his Brisbane free kick exploits, but that time only finding the wall. Loose pass out from Brillante, and now first opportunity perhaps for Adelaide to attack. Goodwin is quick, but it was a good challenge from Priestman. Another another opportunity for him after starting the last 3 matches on the bench. It's a good ball for Antonsen. Brillante. Milanovic involved. Gabriel Kleur now. Adelaide's defence manages to get it clear again. Goodwin asking for the free kick, nothing given. Brillante. 28 matches against Adelaide in his A-League career for Brillante. No goals in those 28 matches. Mind you, he only has 10 in his career. He did get a cup goal against them for Melbourne Victory in the season that Victory went all the way to winning the cup back in 2022. Bonatic's ball forward now. Western Sydney trying to pounce again. Cleared only as far as Kleur. First time for Milanovic. Adelaide on the back foot. Priestman with Brillante again. Gabriel Kleur with Shikluna. Central midfielder for Western Sydney who's been catching the eye. That's a good ball inside. Strong challenge from Kikianis. Priestman keeps it alive. The cross in, back post. Parias, the former Western Sydney Wanderer, gets it clear.
Excellent opening 4 minutes from the Wanderers. The movement's good, the body shape's so positive, the touch is assured. Really good combinations. Yet to get an effort on goal. They've set themselves really nicely to start this match.
Kikianis again in the challenge against Antonsen, who offers more of a point of anchorage to the attack perhaps than the more mobile Sapsford. Up front with Borrello busy as always around him. Shikluna with Kleur. 4 assists this season for Gabriel Kleur. That's second only to Jed Drew in the standings. Now Zach Clough. First chance perhaps for Adelaide to break. Goodwin, he is quick. Gets there ahead of Bonatic. The little back heel for Parias. Cross near post. Ooh, it's Lawrence Thomas this time that spills it. And Western Sydney fans will be having flashbacks to what happened at Combank Stadium between these two sides earlier this year. I don't think it was the sun in the eyes. Priestman with Clisby. Parias does well, but so does Clisby. To immediately win it back. Brillante. Shikluna able to turn. Got his first ever A-League goal in some style last weekend in the final minutes against Wellington Phoenix. The icing on the cake of that 4-1 victory. Here he is again, the little touch from Milanovic. Borrello gives a thumbs up to the intention. Parias got 2 wonderful goals against his former employers in round 3 this season, that 4-3 win at Combank. Reigns with Clough, now Barnett. Clough again. Alagic with Clough. Borrello through the back of the Adelaide number 55. Play continues. Falami against Kleur. It's a good run from Kitto. Might yet get there. He does so Almost poked it back towards that clough in the middle.
Good run from Adelaide have targeted that area just as they attack down the left-hand side. Milanovic doing a good job to recover, but not strong enough when the moment came. And I think Adelaide have targeted this part of the field. Nick Milanovic, great going forward, topping the charts for the goal scoring, creating chances, and he's been very fresh to start this game. But he's not inclined to get into an early defensive position to mark Stefan Moore, for argument's sake. And I think Adelaide will plough that left furrow pretty repeatedly and see if it's in Milanovic's makeup to actually do that work repeatedly. Because the longer the Wanderers have the ball and are playing as fluently as they are, the pressure's off the Wanderers man. If Adelaide get their share of possession, expect him to be put under the microscope.
Those runs into the box, lung-busting runs from Stefan Mork, have been a feature of Adelaide this season. First time in his career he's scored in 3 consecutive matches. He has 4 in 5, Stefan Mork, and 3 in the last 3. As you say, the danger not only for Western Sydney but also for Adelaide, which has been spoken about, is just 2 clean sheets for Adelaide and 1 for Western Sydney this season. Only Perth, Brisbane and Sydney FC have conceded more goals than the Western Sydney Wanderers this campaign so far. Here's Bonatig, played every minute of the season for Western Sydney, the only Wanderer to have achieved that. Morello beaten by the spin. It has been a very bright start so far. 9 minutes in from Western Sydney. They've had the only shot of the match. They are dominating possession.
Called offside, but clearly if the Wanderers score from that move, he was onside.
Good touch out of midfield from Alagic for Mork, and then for Lamy. Just with a heavy touch, Shikluna. Brillante was closed down quickly. Now he heads all the way back to Pelekonos. Youngster in the centre of defence. He was very good last weekend.
Yeah, he's had to bide his time, but the chance has come his way. I agree with you, Robbie. I thought he was really good.
There you see where we've been playing the football match so far in the opening 10 minutes, very much in Adelaide's defensive third. Don't need many chances though. Adelaide with 20 goals so far this season. Here's Parias with Barnett. Missed just the 1 match with a hamstring strain so far this season. Freens bypasses Kikianis for Kitto. Falami comes inside. Falami now looking for Mork. Well read from Brillante. These 2 sides of each 1-2 of the last 6 meetings between them. But both Adelaide's wins have come in Sydney. Quite remarkable that it's 7 years since they've beaten the Western Sydney Wanderers here. It was back in November 2017. It was a 2-0 victory. Ryan Kitto got both the goals, and a certain Robbie Cornthwaite was sent off in the first half for a second yellow card from what, judging by his protestations, what he felt was an unintentional handball. He certainly let the referee know. That was the last time Adelaide got a home win over the Western Sydney Wanderers. I might add that the Adelaide boy, Robbie Cornthwaite, was in red and black in those days. Falami. Well, it's a good ball in. It's completely missed by Pelekanos.
Well, when you look at the head-to-heads between the two teams, 11 wins each. The obvious deduction is that the Wanderers are just as poor at home against Adelaide as the Reds are when the Wanderers go to the City of Churches. So maybe that's a reason why the Wanderers' start has been so buoyant here tonight. Although even without the ball, Adelaide have had those couple of moments that they looked really dangerous. Archie Goodwin in the first instance. Ryan Kitto breaking down the left in the second.
And now Parias inside. He was looking for Goodwin. He goes again. Shikluna. Heavy touch from Milanovic. A little too casual. And the shot! Oh, that was not far away from Ryan Kitto. Looking to get back to scoring ways against the Western Sydney Wanderers.
Milanovic was unaware of Kitto, who was prowling. A heavy touch was gratefully received from Ryan Kitto. A stinging effort towards goal.
Good ball from Borrello. Space here for Kleur. Two running forward. Oh, the ball, I think it was intended for Priestman, who just didn't back himself. Kleur asking the question. Now Brillante with Borrello again. Given away a second time by Milanovic. They've won it back though. Brandon Borrello. Such activity and industry in that front third for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Two very cool and calm and collected assists last weekend as well. Those goals coming in the opening 10 minutes. These two sides have both scored 10 first half goals each this season. That's more than any other side as Coopers finds its voice. Brillante. Shikluna. Played early this season for the Maltese under-21 side. Dylan Shikluna was recently called up for the full senior team as well, only to pull out with injury. Good switch of play for Kleur. Brillante with Shikluna again. Milanovic. Shikluna. His turn to give it away. Plenty of red shirts back. Oh, as Kitto is closed down. Now the opportunity. Atkinson shoots. It's a good stop. Borrello first to the break of play. Still Borrello. Is he going to find a shooting opportunity here? In the end, having almost carved one out, he sees Kitto clear.
He just couldn't split the difference in the end. Antonsen turning towards goal and forcing some good work from Delianov. Borrello rounds the possession up and set himself 3 or 4 times to try and shoot in the end. The pass intended for Milanovic couldn't quite split the difference between he and Kleur, and the ball given away. Good chance for the Wanderers.
Again, Borrello involved with Milanovic just asking a little too much. Kikianis. Brillante with Shikluna, first time ball. It's good one-touch passing from Wanderers. Now perhaps. Oh, as Goodwin's touch just got away from Clough. Alagic wants it back from Falami. Now Friends, confirmation of Western Sydney's dominance of the football in this opening 15 minutes.
Yeah, and I think you can process that statistic, and it's not just the two centre-halves sharing possession in their own half with square passes. It's been way more meaningful, pressure-based from an Adelaide viewpoint, putting Adelaide under pressure inside their own half and often around the edge of the penalty area. Wanderers.
107 passes in opposition half to just 31 in favour of the Wanderers. Falami. Now Adelaide have the ball in Wanderers territory and under control for just about the first time in the contest. Moore coming deep. Here's Barnett, able to turn and face forward. Here's Perez. Perello gets it wide. Milanovic now on the charge. Milanovic looking to add to his 5 goals already this season. It's well defended by Kitto. And now Moore looks up and sees that most of his teammates are behind him, though.
Well, I think that's a sign of the early pressure the Wanderers have put Adelaide under, that there wasn't a transition opportunity for Adelaide. Normally they love that. When the field's stretched and they can make a telling pass out of midfield. They're not a one-trick pony by any means, but they do like it when the field breaks up. On that occasion, they didn't have any immediate reserves to spring the chance as it became available.
Barnett. See some great pressing as well from the Wanderers at the moment. Looking to keep the pressure on at every opportunity. It was Shikluna that time who's keeping very close tabs. Milanovic and Klur both looking after Stefan Mork at the moment. Clisby not taking any chances. Perez with Mork. The header away by Bonatig. Was there a free kick there? Referee put the whistle to the mouth for a moment. Now Perez looking to drive the cross in.
Well, Zach Clough still asking the referee about that intervention from Jack Clisby. No free kick given, but as the play was to unfold, Adelaide do receive the corner.
Alagic's ball in. Perello just sees it out of play. Goal kick. Let's head down onto the sidelines where Max Burford is with us this evening. Max, what's the atmosphere like down there?
Evening, gentlemen. It is a fantastic atmosphere down here. I can tell you right now, I'll announce it for you. It's a sellout, which is not something that happens all too often. They get great crowds, but this is over the top of that. I reckon we're probably pushing 14,000. The last time they had a sellout here, April last year against Sydney FC. Nestori Irankunda, one of those in the house. It'd be tough to spot him. No, it actually probably won't be. He's looking very demure in a very, very expensive matching tracksuit set at the moment. Not exactly blending in. Yeah, there he is. Probably worth all of our wages put together, I reckon, that kit. Nesta, wanted to say, pre-game, a little bit of fire already from Alan Stajic. He was not at all pleased. The Adelaide United goalkeepers were warming up into the Western Sydney half. He went over to Ethan Cox, the backup keeper. Then he went over to the assistant coaches. Started the fire off early.
Yeah, we did see a bit of that, Max. Thank you for that. Just reminding us, we saw Alan Stajic chatting with Travis Dodd as here comes Adelaide on the front foot, and Falami was looking for that run into the box from Goodwin. We know how quick he is. those little competitive edges. And if you can get a little advantage even before the game starts, why not? Bonatig. Chicluna and Brillante ahead of him, but it's good pressure from Alagic. Now Clough looking for Stephen Mork. It's a great run. It's a good ball as well. The best opening for Adelaide so far, midway through the first half, and Stephen Mork couldn't take full advantage of it. See what an opportunity does, even half a chance like that, to just put the brakes on your opposition. We've seen Western Sydney stream forward normally on the counter-attack there.
Well, that was an amazing chance for Adelaide. Great pressure to win the ball. That's surely a foul against Priestman. No, away come Adelaide with another chance to attack a stretched Western Sydney Wanderers defence.
It was Clough who provided that ball for Mork. Here he is on the ball again with Goodwin. It was Dylan Perias that just clattered into Oscar Priestman, who's still asking the referee where the free kick was. Clough again, looking back post towards Falami. It runs out for a goal kick in the end.
He's finding some good touch. Zach Clough this season. That had a bit of promise about it. As Falami is stealing in, he's probably, in hindsight, best to have left his feet and tried to head that. To volley at that speed from that range is almost like Ibrahimovic territory, and with the greatest respect. The diving header might have been better.
Chicluna able to turn. Antonsen likewise. He invites Clisby forward down this left-hand side. The big switch of play, oh, not easy. Into the sun there, and Kitto and Milanovic were wrestling. And then Milanovic just dragging down Kitto in the end, but the referee again was happy to let it go as long as possible.
That's a good win to start with from Milanovic, but once he'd legged Ryan Kitto, there was no way the game could continue.
Two penalties in his 5 goals so far this season for Milanovic. Clough again with more. Here's Falami towards Goodwin. Ball still bouncing around. Finally the Wanderers get it clear. Kitto with Falami. Alagic coming deep, looking for it. Receives from Kikianis.
Well, Red's coming back into it now. That was... It looked like hassle-free, fuss-free defending, but it was really good from Valekanos as the ball was squared in towards Archie Goodwin, who has an uncanny knack of getting that extra half yard away from the central defender, but Valekanos had him. Saw the danger away, but quite clearly Adelaide are marching back into this.
And here they come again. Clough and Perias exchanging passes. The challenge, a good one from Priestman. But they've won it back. Kikianis with the intervention on Antonsen. Good ball wide on the left. Kikianis again. Plenty of numbers forward here. Alagic with Clough. Not afraid to try it from distance. I think he was almost trying to fire it into that top corner there and maybe catch out Lawrence Thomas.
Well, having provided some tasty opportunities so far as that Clough miscalculating badly there.
two best attacks in the competition so far have drawn just the one save from Delianov. It was a very good save at that. Now the referee is again bringing the game back.
It's called a handball here, or a high foot?
High boot against Kleur, I think, for catching Kikianis. We approach the half hour. Naligic able to turn outside. Falami. Goodwin making that run. He was just caught on his heels a little bit. Archie Goodwin. Certainly Bonatig and Pelekanos are being very watchful of the Adelaide number 26.
Yeah, well, they're covering that space nicely. Fleur played out there by good work from Ethan Naligic. It's taken a while to get into the game. If you think back to the 4-3 match earlier, it was the shot inside a minute from Naligic which really set the tempo for the game. He was on fire that night. He's had a very good season too, it should be said, but just a little bit slow out of the blocks here so far this evening for Adelaide, but that was much better from him. Maybe now again.
Here he is again, looking for more. And now Kitto. To chat a little bit about Adelaide's squad. Speaking to the club this week, the official line is not envisaging much movement during the January transfer window, but of course in football you never know. Never say never.
Opens when? What's the magic date?
I think in Australia it's the 16th of January, but for players to start leaving, the European window starts on the 1st, on Wednesday. Certainly that's when the departure gate will be warming up.
Yeah, and that's the strategic decision of the local competition to open their window a little bit later to catch some international interest opportunities once Europe's closed and to see who might still be available.
3rd of February is the closure date for the winter transfer window in Europe. Here's more. Naligic ahead of him. Falami. Little touch for Naligic. And he's got his first ever A-League goal. Ethan Naligic. The son of Adelaide legend Richie. Continuing to put the Naligic name up in lights. His first goal of a very promising career, and importantly the first goal of the night, which gives Adelaide the lead.
Well, that's the channel that Adelaide have looked to exploit on the Harvey Norman replay. Look at the space for Mork. Nice combination with Falami feeding the oncoming run of Naligic. Coach Calvin pre-game talked about adding goals to the CV as his next step. He's taken that step. It's a great goal from a very good young player. Adelaide are away.
There's also Auntie Di Naligic as well. The former Matilda. Quite the footballing family. And the tradition continues. Adelaide, for the 6th time this season, open the scoring. Goal confirmed by VAR. Well, he has had an outstanding season so far. Ethan Naligic played every single minute, one of 4 players in the Adelaide squad to have played every minute of the season so far.
I think it's great coaching preparation. I mean, anyone who watches Adelaide can see how much work they get out of Stephen Mork down that inside left position. But very clearly, the work that Josh Brillante was having to do as the defensive central midfielder, breaking to the right, his right, to try and stem that flow, was the test that Adelaide were prepared to put to the Wanderers. And that's where the goals come from.
Fulami, nicely done, more back. Well, it was an outrageous attempted 1-2, and it almost came off. Now, Alagic again. Shot blocked, Barnett with Clough. Clough's cross, oh, it's a great ball for Goodwin, and that's 2. 2 in 2 minutes. Archie Goodwin makes it 4 in his last 3. He is loving life in Adelaide. And we know how much Adelaide loves a Goodwin.
Well, they continue in this vein. They will be picking up a good win. Too clear now on the Harvey Norman replay. It's a delightful ball in. Beautiful on the curl. And he's a striker, this kid. Archie Goodwin, make no mistake. From the very first steps as an A-League senior, he showed he's got what it takes if his body can go with him. Well, the head leads the charge here at Hindmarsh. It's a really good header from Goodwin. And the very good start of the Western Sydney Wanderers now seems like a very distant memory.
He joins Milanovic and Barbarouses atop the scoring charts this season. 5 in his last 6 for Archie Goodwin, and 4 in the last 3 now. A double last weekend. A great goal the week before that against the Mariners. And the Wanderers' woes in defence continue, and they have to be careful here. There's 10 minutes to go until half-time. Parias taking on Clisby. Friends. Alagic back helping out. Clough wrestling as well. It looks like a different side to the one that played the first 15 minutes,
Yeah,
isn't it?
well, they were building. I mean, it's not as though it happened immediately. They did build their way back into the game. That they earned their right to attack the Wanderers' goal on a more consistent basis. They pinched a lot of possession in midfield. And Adelaide stages will be very disappointed with the lack of midfield discipline in possession. Milanovic has turned it over. Shakluna has turned it over. Just inviting Adelaide to build more pressure. Archie Goodwin gets free in the box once. He nails the chance. Geez, an exciting prospect.
It's great to see a clinical header of the football as well. Here's Clisby. Antonson's not a bad player in the air either, as that cross towards him. Now Milanovic on that left foot. Took a big deflection. Parias took a wild swing at it. And he's been closed down a second time from Priestman. No support though. Delianov claims the loose ball. Clough. No look pass back into the danger zone, but they got away with it. Here's Kikianis. Alagic again. Friends with Kikianis. Possession is slowly starting to even itself out as well. The 5th assist of the season for Zach Clough. He tops that chart in the league. along with Jed Drew. Alagic, Kitto, the cutback, oh, the deflection. And I think that's quite a good save in the end from Lawrence Thomas. Alagic now. Barnett with Mork. Alagic again. They bring it back out, give it some air. Kitto, Klur. Played into a bit of a 50-50 there by his goalkeeper, Ryan Kitto. That's well played for Lamy. Kitto couldn't find him with the return ball. And again it's given away. Milanovic this time. Clough inviting Parias to down this right-hand side. He looks up early for Archie Goodwin again. Throwing himself at the ball.
Well, that's what I had in mind when that pass and chance a number of minutes ago now for Ben Falami. If you recall, Zach Clough dropped that one in and Falami tried to volley. The instinct, compare the instinct of players. Archie Thompson, goodness. I'll stop making that reference.
Not for the first time.
I know. I'm not even going to crack the gag, Archie Thompson, about being offside. We'll bury that one.
Side of Priestman. And Priestman asking where was his free kick about 15 minutes ago.
This is a tough task when you're Priestman versus Parias. Over 10 or 15 metres, over any distance really, and that's nothing against Oscar Priestman, but Dylan Parias can move. Real speed, hard to contain.
Good ball, Shikluna over the top. Oh, what's the referee make of that? Milanovic claims he was being wrestled to the ground. Referee didn't see anything untoward by the Reds captain Ryan Kitto. Now Clough has Adelaide work their way forward again. Alagic with Mork. Just showed too much of it to Brillante. And again, it's Barello giving it away this time. Milanovic now. Brillante just and Klur, and it's just a little bit ragged from the Wanderers.
It's not that good. Well, he's had a little interference. Was it enough to really throw Milanovic off stride, or was Nick Milanovic looking for a bit of help? Only he'll know the answer to that. Referee was in no mind to blow for a free kick. But the second half of this first half of the Wanderers has been very disappointing. So much promised in the opening 15. They were playing some beautifully fluent stuff. It's evaporated.
Priestman, that's a good ball this time for Brillante. Now Milanovic for Clisby. Look at the space here. Clisby, can he find the target? The follow-up cleared only as far as Brillante now. His effort over the crossbar.
Well, it's a good incursion from the Wanderers. When luck's not going your way, the parry from Delianov could easily have fallen right into the stride of Antonsen. It's not the Wanderers' striker's fault that Adelaide get away with it. Delianov very relieved. So too Carl Veer. That would have been very timely for Western Sydney going into the break.
Calvert knows all about the dangers of 2-goal leads. Doesn't need reminding. One thing's for sure, he won't be letting up on his squad until the final whistle goes.
Well, after last week, do you think he's been rehearsing and role-playing the 2-goal up speech in the dressing room?
Tell you who he has been speaking to, his opposite number. The two coaches have been trading a few barbs down here. Stadge was suggesting that at half-time he's going to tell his boys they can do whatever they want because the referee has been letting everything go. Carl suggested perhaps the Western Sydney boys shouldn't all be falling over.
Well, they are both players at heart, aren't they? I mean, you can take the player off the pitch and put them on the bench, but they are still players at heart. Now, what's the referee say there? Free kick given. Daniel Cook, our referee, in his 6th ever A-League match, spotting a foul there on Adelaide.
Hard not to award the free kick there. Adelaide had the advantage position. Shipona was wrestling with that space, trying not to interfere with the player, to give him any benefit of the doubt, but in the end, I don't think the referee had anywhere to go on that particular case.
And we've already seen Zach Clough's delivery for that wonderful second goal from Archie Goodwin. Clough again to the back post, headed back, it's still there for Mork. And the flag has gone up for offside, I assume, for that runner at the back post in the first instance. Kikianis well offside. Sydney, now it's Stajic. They'll have to try and rediscover what they were doing at the start of the match. It's Adelaide that have finished on top. You can hear Carl Viet still vocal. Just 1 minute of stoppage time to be added on. Adelaide now have 12 first-half goals scored this season. More than any other side. The next best, of course, is Western Sydney with 10.
Come on, stay switched on. Come on.
They start well. But they've only won 3 of the 5 previous times they've opened the scoring in a match this season for 2 draws. Bad news for Western Sydney is the 3 times they've conceded the opening goal, they've lost all 3, including earlier this season to Adelaide. Ball to the back post for Antonsen. He's pulled one back. And the Swede justifies his selection in the starting 11 ahead of Zach Sapsford. And it was an easy goal to concede right on the stroke of half-time. But Antonsen has given Western Sydney a lifeline.
Well, Harvey Norman replay shows a great opportunity going into half-time now for the Wanderers. And at the ground where Brazilian Fernando Reck called home and dominated penalty areas in the air, Antonsen gives the Adelaide fans a taste of Fernando the Great. That's a really difficult header. Backing away, the ball didn't have a lot of speed on it, had a lot of loop, and backing away from the ball to be able to set yourself and get enough power to beat the keeper from that angle. Outstanding. 2 great headers in this first half of different kinds to really highlight the art of goal scoring. And the game's back alive.
It certainly is. Well, Western Sydney Wanderers started so well. Adelaide stormed back into the contest, looked to have done the hardest part in taking a 2-goal lead through Ethan Alagic's first ever A-League goal, and then Archie Goodwin's 4th in the last 3 matches, only for Marcus Antonsen to give the Western Sydney Wanderers some hope and then continue their run of scoring in every match this season as well. Half-time at a packed Coopers Stadium. Adelaide United 2, Western Sydney Wanderers 1.
being made mincemeat of here so far.
Still going. Elrich. Still going. What a run this is by Tariq Elrich. Still he goes on Elrich! Oh, what a goal! That's a contender for goal of the season by Tariq Elrich.
Welcome back to Cooper's Stadium, where Adelaide lead the Western Sydney Wanderers at half-time by 2-1. The two leading attacks in the A-League competition, both on the score sheet. And this match very evenly poised at the break. We are all set for the second half. No changes to either side at the break. And it is Ethan Alagic who scored his first ever A-League goal that gets this second half underway. Western Sydney, who started well, Andy Harper, were overrun as the half went on, and then, almost out of nowhere, handed a lifeline, courtesy of Antonson's late goal back for the Wanderers.
Well, you look at, you're right, that summation I think is bang on. And it would have been, as a result, a less tense Wanderers dressing room. Care of that late goal, very good goal from Marcus Antonsen. And whilst people talk about the pros and cons of an Antonsen, disappointed that Zach Sabson wasn't playing today to start with because he's been so good, and fair enough. Antonsen's on 4 goals, minimum minutes. One off the Golden Boot. The guy's got quality.
Yellow card for Gabriel Cleur. That's the first booking of this contest. Kikianis. As we see the two teams across the front of your screen there. Ball forward towards Zach Clough, who added another assist to his statistics this season. Shoulder to shoulder, referee allows play to continue. Parias, Dylan Parias into the area, still Parias going. Bonatic lunged in and got enough of the ball for the referee to allow play to continue. Clisby finds Priestman. Here is Antonsen. Parias scored those 2 goals against Western Sydney in the 4-3. He's been outstanding this season up and down that right flank, where a lot is asked of him as well by Adelaide. He really does tally up the kilometres in a football match as Milanovic finds Borello into the area. It's a great touch from Borello. Kleur is there. Now Clisby on his left foot. Still alive. Milanovic against Kitto. And now Kleur. The Wanderers looking for an equaliser early in the second half. They'll have to settle for a corner.
That's good football. Again, but it didn't fall quite for Clisby. It certainly didn't fall where Milanovic wanted. Opportunity to volley on his right. He opted to keep playing and try and get it on his left. Good defending from Bonatic. And a serious question posed of him by Parias, who has had a very good season, with more to come from an Adelaide viewpoint, you'd reckon.
The in-swinger from Clisby to the back post. Oh, it's brought down and it's in the back of the net. And that was far too easy. Brandon Borello, after a pair of assists last weekend, the Adelaide boy gets his 6th against his hometown club. And he celebrates with some family members who have got down to Coopers for the occasion. And we are all square at 2-2.
Well, it's just plenty of numbers for Adelaide on the Harvey Norman replay, but no conviction to clear the ball. And Borello finds himself on the back stick. A muted celebration in respect to his first club and then his home state, but straight to his family for the embrace. And another 2-goal lead has disappeared for Adelaide. How far of spontaneous combustion must Carl Viet be?
Well, I'm sure we'll manage to get a shot of Carl sooner rather than later. He was absolutely furious last weekend. Certainly the scenario was a bit different. They conceded them in the 89th and 93rd minute. Here's Falami trying to get something back. But goals either side of half-time within minutes of the half-time break. You can see the pressure cooker building.
And the home game jinx remains alive, or the potential thereof. Still not a struck match between the Wanderers and Adelaide in the head-to-head. 11 wins apiece and now shaping up for it. Is it 13th draw, Robbie?
As it stands. Here's Kitto. Adelaide wants something to say about that. Alagic, well defended by Shikluna.
Well, the last game of last weekend, actually, let me refine that. The Melbourne Derby of last weekend really set a standard for the early rounds of the A-League, and this one is brewing similarly. Two very competitive teams. Adelaide with their eye on top spot. Wanderers looking to continue their resurgence. And we're back all square just at the start of the second half. This is going to be a good one.
Clough. The cross in. Back post. Oh, and that was arrowing towards that top corner. And Lawrence Thomas knew it. It's a good save in the end.
Clough again. He's been pretty on point so far tonight. I think he's really wasteful effort into the box. The others have been severely testing the Wanderers' defence.
Adelaide looking for a 9th game without defeat to start the season. The corner taken short. Alagic again. There's been a couple of players go down in the box. Kitto wrestling with Brillante. Alagic sees it out for a throw. They have done better. 7 wins and 4 draws for 11 without defeat. Have a look at this. Kitto too easily. It looks under that challenge from Brillante. That was in 2010-11 that Adelaide went 11 without defeat to start the season. We've got another corner here. Last season, Melbourne Victory started with 15 games without defeat. And in 2016-17, Sydney started the season with 19 without loss.
I love that from Dylan Prius. And the more he can do it, with the mindset that every time I get the ball, I'm going to try to do that when I score up to my opposing player. I think he's just got such amazing potential with his speed. He wins the free kick here. Clough has been in good form with his delivery into the box so far this evening. He gets a chance for a breather. And now looks to reset. Now, can he drop one on the pin?
Only Brisbane have conceded more set-piece goals than Western Sydney this season. There's Clough. Back post, Kikianis. Headers back in. Shikluna gets it clear. Parius under pressure. He's very fortunate. He managed to find Ethan Alagic. Oh. And then it's Barnett's turn to just put the ball up in the air. Borello. Priestman takes over. Milanovic comes back onto the left. Milanovic shoots near post. And I think it's a combination of Delianov and the woodwork that keeps it out.
Good save from Delianov. That's Milanovic's favourite range, I reckon. He loves cutting in. A bit like those who might remember watching English football, Chris Waddle of Newcastle and Spurs used to cut in from the right on that left foot of his. That rangy gate. There's a little touch there from Delianov. It was going to sneak in the side of that hand, just in the gap available, were it not for the keeper.
Western Sydney deliver the ball back in. Still it's there. Oh. The referee spotting a foul by Borello, was it?
Yeah, well, I would be frustrated if I'm Brandon Borello. I mean, what's the foul there? For jumping higher than Stephen Moore?
Who didn't jump?
0 foul. And I reckon Alan Stajic agrees. Well, that's
a yellow card for you too, Andy Harvard.
Well, I'll take it. I can't get much further away from pitch side anyway. But, I mean, that's crazy. A crazy decision from the ref in the scheme of things. No foul at all. Wanderers come again.
The second yellow card to go with Gabriel Clerc. And now Milanovic this time just passing it straight to Barnett. Clough. He's looking for Archie Goodwin, but he could never hit the turbo. Milanovic again, little touch. Brillante outside with Clerc. This is nice again from Wanderers. Ball in, brought down by Antonsen well, and his shot was blocked.
Yeah, it wasn't the best bit of service from Gabriel Clerc, certainly with the space that was opened up. Antonsen nearly made something of it. It's Adelaide who have to batten down the hatches now. They did it well in the first half, to then find themselves and spring to clear. Wanderers come straight back into it and now firmly in control of the game.
Adelaide's last shot came from Archie Goodwin in the 34th minute. The last 8 shots now with that block shot from Antonsen. have all come from Western Sydney, and they're in again here. Gabriel Kleur comes inside, left foot near post. And unfortunately, it was all too laboured by someone who is not a recognised goal scorer.
I was wondering if it was just me. But it looked like he couldn't get out of first gear. And he can run, Gabriel Kleur. He does cover a lot of territory. Is he pulling up short? Well, Archie Goodwin's giving him a breather. But that touch, and I was expecting him to burst into the box. But he just looked like he had the handbrake on.
I think there he's saying that he did feel a little something, perhaps.
Well,
he wants to stay on.
Pre-game, they were asking Carl about Archie and what the special program has been on, separate from the rest of the team, to get his body right, and he's been doing well, but he did come off with a bit of tightness last week, or the week before. He called it rustiness. Totally understandable. You just wonder how many more weeks the rustiness is going to last, or if they put him back in cotton wool. He scored a brilliant goal here tonight.
There's no Luka Jovanovic on the bench, left out of the squad entirely. He had found himself on the bench, Jovanovic, and when he left the field last weekend in Sydney, just threw his shirt down to the ground and stormed off down the tunnel. And Carl Veart said in the pre-game show that that sort of attitude is unacceptable, and that's why he's been dropped from the squad for this evening.
Well, the youngsters in Adelaide wouldn't realise who Carl Veart's mentor was, and that was the incomparable Zoran Matic, who was known, and we saw in the NSL, to take players off during a game when he'd run out of subs if they'd broken with rules. He'd prefer to finish a game with 10 v 11 and have those 10 players doing what they were asked. So the outburst from the youngster, perhaps not the most chosen recipient, Carl Veart, cutting his teeth under that great Adelaide City team. Chock full of internationals, Milan Ivanovic, Alex Tobin. Wow, you could go on and on, but the epicentre of it was Zoran Matic, who didn't suffer any ill discipline.
We approach the hour mark. Western Sydney, just as they did the first half, has started the second very well. Antonsen, the shot across the face. Delianov, I think, had that one covered. The Western Sydney fans are enjoying this spirited comeback.
Yeah, most certainly enjoying where the team is getting itself to in general. Would have been pretty crestfallen at 0-2, but they feel like their trip to Adelaide might actually be worth it in the end. So far.
Here's Alagic. As Adelaide try and just steady the ship. Two goal leads in the last week for Lamy. Looking for that run from Alagic, not for the first time this evening. It's most notably where his goal came from. Well, just for those options on the bench then. In attack, as that ball just squeezes away from Archie Goodwin. Austin Ayubi is there. Ryan White, who we know can play a number of positions as well. And Yaya Dakuli, who's been excellent the last 2 weeks off the bench. There are two of the goal scorers from last weekend. Zach Sapsford, who broke his nose on the opening weekend of the season, is still wearing the mask. As here goes Kleur again. Gabriel Kleur. It's a good ball across the face of goal, and Antonsen reached for it but couldn't get there. And the substitutions coming on now. It will be Antonsen's last opportunity. Zach Sapsford, the masked assassin, comes on to replace Antonsen, who got, for the moment, the all-important goal that got Western Sydney back into the contest. The other change is Bojdar Kraev, the Bulgarian, who got the second goal last weekend. He's coming on for Priestman. So just past the hour mark, Alan Stajic has reverted to the side that started the game against Wellington Phoenix. That will see probably Borrello move into that more Antonsen role, with a Sapsford busy operating across the front of the attack.
Well, very astute panellist this evening, Robbie Cornthwaite, talked about Adelaide's late fade, and in conjunction with the Wanderers looking to spread the load, he did anticipate the potential of Zach Sapsford causing some chaos towards the end of the match. So in that sense, you sort of get the feeling that the 60 minutes was a bit of a preordained plan to get Cryer and Sapsford back on, but Antonsen was excellent. I mean, he certainly has staked a claim to start again. 4 goals, 1 off top spot. It's not to be sneezed at.
What it certainly does also suggest, because there's Aidan Hammond, who's on the bench as well, not to mention Juan Mata, but it's a certain amount of depth in those attacking roles as well for Western Sydney. Kraev closing down. Kleur again with Brillante all the way back to Pelekanos. Bonatig with Clisby. Kleur for Borrello. Great running again from Brandon Borrello. He's not the fastest, he's not the most technical, but what he lacks in those departments he makes up with just sheer determination. Goodwin with Kitto. That's a good run from Mork in behind. Little ball over the top for Goodwin. Clough is there. Barnett. Now Parias. Dylan Parias. Can he find space? Oh, that's hit the post. He has drilled that near post, and Lawrence Thomas couldn't get anywhere near it. Western Sydney just launched straight up the other end.
Well, here's the effort. Parias again. Just look how he gets players off balance, because they're so nervous about getting beaten with that first yard or two. Kraev just in off the bench, so hasn't got his game legs yet. But it's when you're up against players where the speed differential is so profound, and that's virtually Robbie Parias versus most other players, if not all other players. It's really confounding when you've got to try and find a way. He was another great exponent.
He's just
hard as he might try. That explosive power over a couple of yards.
Well, that first Adelaide shot just came there from Dylan Parias, but it has been all one-way traffic before then in this second half. Great to see Nestoria and Kunda back. He was at Adelaide's game last weekend as well. A product of Adelaide United, now playing soon on the biggest stage of all, as Falami's shot is blocked. He was on the bench in the Champions League just before Christmas. Nestoria and Kunda as well, which shows you the progress that he's making there. One of the biggest clubs in the world. Kitto's pass. Can't find more. We're approaching the midway point of the second half. 3/4 of the game done. We're all level at 2-2. We had a 4-4 between these two sides a couple of years ago, the first ever in the history of the game in Australia. Well, the A-League at any rate, and then Archie Goodwin should probably have left that for Dylan Parias.
Yeah, I think Goodwin was the only one inside Coopers who didn't see that space for Dylan Parias.
So the first change for Adelaide does see Goodwin make way. Then it's Austin Ayubi who's coming on now. This is not a like-for-like swap. Ayubi very much a wide player. We'll have to see if he does move into a makeshift number 9 role. It looks like he will. Archie Goodwin makes way after getting a 4th goal in 3 games. Now this was about the period where Adelaide started to get on top in the first half. Mork showed too much of that to Brillante. Good challenge, Kitto. It's gone the Wanderers' way. There again, oh, he's done well. Borello with Kraev. Milanovic. Ooh, he's on sliding in there, Milanovic on Barnett. You have to be careful now, Borello. Must have been close to offside, Brandon Borello. He's kept it alive with Klur. Just overdoing it, Gabriel Klur on that occasion.
Well, the referee just had a quick word with Nick Milanovic over hitting this one, but you've got to be careful. I think he was. He went in fairly, in his mind, to try and win the ball. And Adelaide turning the ball. There's a couple of chances being presented here for both teams. Maybe just getting a little ragged, a little tired. Discipline starting to drop off.
This is a nice little passage of play from Adelaide with Ayubi and Falami finding Clough and then Parias. Forced back. Here's Falami again, one-on-one with Pelekanos. It's a good ball inside for Alagic. How many times this evening have we seen that exact combination?
Well, the combination has worked really well down the Adelaide left. Their danger down the right for the Reds has been getting the ball to Parias. And it's been very effective either way you've looked at it, but clearly Adelaide have targeted this near touchline. And the role that the Wanderers ask Milanovic in this case to play, and they reckon they can get some mileage out of him, maybe not being able to play defensively the way he might. There he is, the number 14, just zeroing in on Stefan Mork. This is the turf that Adelaide want to play the football match when they got the ball.
Falami again with Alagic. Trying to curl the ball to the back post, but out of play for another goal kick into the last 20 minutes.
Very tense. It's been a good game. Good comeback from the Wanderers. The game now sits on the precipice. Top spot beckons for Adelaide. A continued resurgence is what's at stake and on offer for the Wanderers if they can bag all 3 points.
Well, for the moment, the draw does still send Adelaide top of the standings, but they are level on points now with Auckland, as it looks at the moment. And the draw also sees Western Sydney climb up into the 6 as well, into 5th place. But again, ahead of MacArthur and Western United on goal difference alone. A win would promote both sides further up.
Well, that's a little bit of a waste from Borrello, who's been very busy again tonight. Scored the equalising goal. That's really valuable. That space and that opportunity. Just a little speculative and wasteful.
Clisby does well under pressure. Kraev. Likewise. Pelekanos. With Kleur into the feet of Shikluna. One-touch football again as they try and pass their way through. Possession still in Western Sydney's favour. Expected goals very much in their favour. They've had 14 shots to just 6 from the home side. In fact, Adelaide's good spell, if you like, can really be concentrated just that 20 minutes in the middle of the first half, where they managed to score twice and looked like they could go away with it, but in the end just stalled at takeoff.
Yeah. I think that's well, the 2 goals they scored came separated by 3 or 4 minutes either side of that 20-minute period. The Wanderers, looked the goods. They were staring down the barrel of a very disappointing scoreline, but have managed to resuscitate their hopes in this game. Juan Mata getting ready to join the fray.
There is the XG very much in Western Sydney's favour. Adelaide are the side coming into this round of matches with the highest XG for the season. Mork still full of running. Not everything has come off for him so far today, but he's still a constant threat with those runs through, and now the change comes. Juan Mata coming on to replace Josh Brillante in the middle of the park. A little round of applause, I think, from the Adelaide faithful for the arrival of Juan Mata as well, a 3rd substitution for the Western Sydney Wanderers. And 15 minutes for the Spanish World Cup winner to show his wares. Ayubi back out. Well, one thing we have seen from Adelaide and Western Sydney so far this season, to be fair, is that even if they're not playing their best football, you wouldn't put it past them scoring. Just the way they love to attack and the quality they have in the final thirds.
Well, they've put themselves in a good position this season, and with that comes the confidence to win games when sometimes all the other odds are showing that that's not likely. Passes like that aren't going to help. Here's a question without notice, Robbie. Because I can't remember the last time Josh Brillante got substitute. Like, he is a staple in whichever team he plays. Now, this might be part of the moving players around because of loading, etc., with the schedule coming up.
And here's near ever present in the side, 590 minutes in 7 of the 8 matches this season. So far, he did miss one match with a knock. Now, Kleur goes again for the return pass and goes down under the challenge from Kitto. What's the referee going to make of that? Well, Gabriel Kleur has a problem, and I'm not sure it's cramp. It looks like it's the hamstring. Maybe a bit of cramp.
I could never imagine that situation, him getting away from Ryan Kitto. As valiant as the effort was.
The answer to your question without notice is there we see, as it stands, with a point from this match, Adelaide provisionally first, Western Sydney provisionally fifth, but neither with the bonus 2 points that they would get if they can find an unanswered goal in the last 13 minutes. And that's the third time this season Josh Galante has come off in the final stages of matches. Newcastle and Wellington. The other two, both 4-1 wins, which isn't going to happen tonight. Aidan Hammond is going to come on. Gabriel Kleur just being told you can step off where you are, you don't have to get to the halfway line. Well, who'd be a fullback in the modern game with just how much running is not only expected of you but demanded of you. You have to get up and down. Dylan Parias is a classic example, but Kleur has been up and down that flank all day.
Yeah, and whilst the mind was definitely willing, a number of moments in the second half to play the game.
And that's a fourth and final substitution, barring a concussion sub for Western Sydney. They've used up their 3 windows. As the foul goes against Kitto. Just overstepping the ball and catching Milanovic.
A clear yellow card. And only a yellow card because the contact is below the ankle. Doesn't mean it doesn't tickle.
Will it be a 4th game without defeat as it stands for the Western Sydney Wanderers, and 9th for Adelaide? Van Mata standing over the free kick. Perello still making runs.
Not sure why the Wanderers don't do a 2v1 against this wall. Look at the space.
Mata's ball in, the header away by Mork. Straight back for Mata. Little touch for Aidan Hammond. Now Milanovic is a long way out. That's a wasted effort. Mata again. With Bonatig. Clisby. Oh, it's a good ball for Kraev. Into the area, it's gone out. Referee says goal kick. Well, this is now the longest Stefan Mork has played in a match this season. 81st minute.
Like a good case for a corner there for the Wanderers.
And here is Mork involved in the build-up play with Falami. Excellent defensive work from Shikluna. Oh, and that's a good ball as well from the makeshift right back with Kraev. Kraev still going off, straight through Delianov. And Božidar Kraev. 2 goals in 2 weeks for the Bulgarian. And Western Sydney have come from 2 goals down just before half-time. And now with 9 minutes left, they lead 3-2.
Well, that's just not strong enough from Falami on the Harvey Norman replay. Nowhere near strong enough. But from here, it's all the Wanderers. It's excellent from Shikluna. Hasn't he made a go of a starting midfield position over recent weeks? And the ball swings wide to Božidar Kraev off the bench to the back of the net. Delianov questions must be asked. It's gone through the keeper. It's not a happy moment, certainly for Adelaide, in particular James Delianov, but it's a wonderful moment for Kraev and the Wanderers. The hometown hex continues in the Wanderers Adelaide head-to-head.
November 2017, the last time Adelaide were able to get a home win against the Western Sydney Wanderers. And you would have thought, when Archie Goodwin made it 2-0 after 34 minutes, that surely they were going to set the record straight. Well, they haven't been able to do so. And it's the Western Sydney Wanderers again. Who are really showing some good form at the moment in the A-League.
Well, it was just excellent work from Shikluna. Notwithstanding the softness of the application from Falami in the first duel. But it just underlines what Shikluna has done since the opening weeks of the season when he was a bit part option, but showed he was worth a go when he did get to play, and he's nailed down that starting berth. Scored his own goal of some very decent quality last week and has set this one up. Excellent bit of midfield play. Good finish from Kraev. And it's almost an amazing escape for the Wanderers. They're not there yet.
And here goes Sapsford again. On the charge, Zach Sapsford. He's got Barillo in the middle. Near post, Barillo. And those two that combined for a goal inside a minute last weekend almost did so again.
Well, they're going to get a bit of reprieve here, Adelaide. Excellent from Sapsford. Good combination between the two. They read it nicely. It's excellent from Bart Brent. I'm pretty sure the defender's got that clearance away.
Falami coming off. And Yaya Ndukuli coming on. He got his first goal of the season against the Mariners 2 weeks ago. He played well in his minutes off the bench last weekend against Sydney. McCalvey had said perhaps they should really have turned one of his opportunities into that 4th goal that would have made the game safe. They didn't do that. Now he has a rather different mission, one of find an equaliser now.
The absence of Gabriel Clerc has understandably put Shikluna back at right fullback. And into midfield.
And now Ndukuli. Again, it's well played by Shikluna.
Very well played from Shikluna.
There's the Paramount Plus player index with just a few minutes left. Milanovic leading the way over Alagic. Antonsen with his goal contribution as well. Clisby and Bonatic, who have seen a lot of the football at the back for Western Sydney. Shikluna into midfield with Hammond. Milanovic Dispossessed. De Cooley now. Just couldn't tame the ball down that left-hand side. The 3 previous times they conceded the opening goal this season, the Western Sydney Wanderers came away with nothing. Is this going to be the moment? Sapsford again has done brilliantly well. Kraev, overlapping run. Clisby on the right foot, not what the left foot is.
I'd be thought for all money. It's teed up on his left foot. You're just waiting for Jack to thrash the ball goalward. Instead, he cuts in and opts for the back pass. Incredulous. What a chance to seal it. Superb work from Sapsford. Adelaide, care of the kindness of Jack Clisby, can I call it that? Christmas kindness, are still in it. They might be and should be probably asleep by now, Adelaide.
Kikianis. There is still time for the home side. Great ball for De Cooley. In behind the cutback. Juan Mata. Cooley forward. Hammond's ball, but Borello's standing miles offside. Doesn't even bother chasing. Two minutes left, plus stoppages. Adelaide have a reputation as the last-minute entertainers. Scicluna admits the foul. I think he perhaps thought a yellow card was coming his way as well. It's going to be Clough to deliver.
Well, barely sighted for half an hour. Zach Clough been prominent up until then, with moments like these to drop the ball into the danger zone for the Reds.
They need that pinpoint delivery again from Clough here. In it comes. It is a good ball. I think that's a defensive header. It's going to be a corner. There's been a clash of heads there. I think the Western Sydney Wanderers were congratulating Scicluna for the initial header, but perhaps they heard something.
Well, there he is, one of the smaller players in the Wanderers lineup, right in the thick of the defensive battle. He's had a mighty game tonight.
They may have fallen awkwardly at the end of that. Mork and Adelaide are not happy. The crowd are not happy either. Calvert surveying the situation. Is it going to be that first defeat of the season for Adelaide? The referee is telling Scicluna, in fact it's not Scicluna, it's Pelekanos, who was strong in that defensive section. The referee saying he has to leave the field of play after receiving attention. Well, he is going to have to leave the field of play. Doesn't want to at the moment. Going on. Finally, the referee's got his message across, and we'll be able to take this corner. Pelekanos just has to leave the field of play. This rule exists so that players just don't receive treatment and wind down the without any compensation, so they're defending a man down at the moment. Western Sydney for this corner. Clough again. They come short. Clough's ball, back post. Hopelessly overhead and out. Will it get checked? I think Stephen Mork's header was already well out of play, and Ryan Kitto seems to know it, even if the crowd are still celebrating.
Impossible for us to tell from that angle. The assistant referee on the far sideline was pretty emphatic with the raising of the flag.
VAR has confirmed we'll get underway with the goal kick. But at least Adelaide have just reminded themselves where the back of the net is.
7 minutes of stoppages, really interesting. It was that horror show at Combank Stadium a couple of weeks ago with the Brisbane shenanigans got 7 minutes as well, you remember?
Now it's Shikluna who's gone down under that challenge. He did jar himself a little bit as he came into the challenge. You can see both feet just sliding a little bit. Ryan Kitto wanted to get that underway as quickly as possible.
Well, interesting this, Robbie. There's going to be 5 minutes at least now. Wanderers have used all their subs. The windows have gone, unless they can get a concussion sub out of this. But they're going to have to work pretty hard to get that. And still, this could be speeded up.
Well, physio checking both knees, going back to check the right one again. And now Shikluna is back to his feet. Oh, and it's a red card for Alan Stajic. Well, he was booked in the 56th minute. He's booked again in the 94th. Next up for Western Sydney, MacArthur at home on Wednesday, New Year's Day. Then away to Melbourne Victory, and then Perth. Alan Stajic will not be able to be on the bench for that game against MacArthur. As fate would have it, Adelaide's next game is against MacArthur as well. 3 days later, on the 6th.
Shikluna's back in action. Outside of the specifics of the time taken, I'm glad that he's up and moving. I think he's been terrific, Shikluna. I wouldn't like to see him missing football, but it did seem to take a while.
Can't get the ball out of the Adelaide bench. Now it arrives from the Western Sydney bench, rather. Oh, and they've got to be careful. Kitto trying to drill the ball back in. And now Milanovic coming. There's a bit of push and shove. Western Sydney just trying to wind down the clock a little bit more as well. Kitto's already picked up a yellow as well. Referee quite rightly telling everyone just to get out of the way. Well, how much time is finally going to be added on here, because we haven't had much football in the last 6 minutes.
Oh, it's quite a chaotic ending to this. Unforeseen. It's been a very, very good game. Wanderers a fabulous comeback, fighting as hard as they can to maintain the rage. Adelaide looking to defend their unbeaten start to the season. Hopes of that slipping away.
Kitto. Just sliding into the challenge. Here comes Aidan Hammond now. The ball for Milanovic. Borello. A bit of showboating. De Cooley. Oh, he might put that straight back to Sapsford. Sapsford had the option to cross, and he's been flattened in the back plate. Now, here's Milanovic. Ball out for a goal kick. Milanovic pleading to have a corner. It's taken short. It's now or never for Adelaide. They've been unable to get the ball into Western Sydney territory in all of stoppage time.
Well, it's a frantic and chaotic end. The Wanderers resorting now just to hacking the ball clear. A couple of chances to kick two clear and finish it off, but they haven't been able to do it. Adelaide still with the pulse as a result.
Delianov looks long. Glanced on by Freens. Is there time? There must be more minutes added on. We're into the 8th minute. The long throw is coming. Is this the moment for Adelaide? The header away, Sapsford. A heavy touch. De Cooley. He'll keep it in. De Cooley's cross. Oh, it's too easy. Too close for Lawrence Thomas.
I'm not sure if the game is being beamed into the Wanderers dressing room, where their naughty coach, Alan Stadgett, has had to watch out the end minutes of this game. If they hang on, it's been a great performance by the coach. Credit where it's due. There's another chance that might have actually finished this thing.
Already offside. He knew he was off. He seemed there, I was off.
But the stuttering star has had plenty of wolves at the door out Parramatta way. And he's managed to sail through that early turbulence. Down 2-0 away from the unbeaten hitherto Adelaide United to be now 3-2. He'll take a red card every game if that's what it takes. And if they can hang on, this will be a huge win for the Western Sydney Wanderers.
Well, for the second week in a row, Adelaide have squandered the 2-goal advantage. They may have still emerged with a point last weekend against Sydney. It may not be the case today. Oh, as Borello looked early for Sapsford. We're into the 100th minute of this match. Delianov helped on by Mork. Freens is playing as a makeshift striker now. Mata does well. Into the box for Kraev. Well, Kikianis and Delianov almost made a meal of that. Alagic long. Over the top for Ayubi. Flag stays down. 2 in the middle. Ball back post. De Cooley cuts it back. And Shikluna, who can barely stand and has been limping in his defence for the last 5 minutes since he did injure that knee.
Yeah, Mata wants him up. He doesn't want any more time added on. Close to drifting offside, but because there's no goal to test, the assistant referee's judgment stands.
Well, you can see he is struggling. Dylan Shikluna, as here it comes, near post. Well, Adelaide are claiming it came off Clisby. Referee says goal kick.
Well, having awarded the 7 minutes, I can see, given the chaos, how it stretched out to 10. I don't know how he got 7 in the first place. Anyway, it's made for great viewing. Adelaide have been full of effort to try and level the score, but this one's cooked.
Well, it was a frantic finish. And in the end, it is the first defeat of the season for Adelaide. who miss out on the chance to move top of the standings. For the first time this season, the Western Sydney Wanderers come from behind and avenge their defeat earlier this season at the hands of Adelaide. It is a fourth match without defeat for Alan Stagic's side, the Western Sydney coach, who was sent off in stoppage time for a second yellow card. Adelaide, who raced into a 2-goal lead through Alagic and Goodwin in the first half. Antonsen getting the crucial 1 goal back in first half stoppage time. Brandon Borello, the Adelaide man, then equalised, and Božidar Krajev came off the bench and got the winner 8 minutes from time, as Western Sydney Wanderers continue their incredible run here of 9 matches without defeat at Coopers Stadium. They have come from behind to defeat Adelaide United by 3-2. Well, a great performance from the Western Sydney Wanderers, who showed such spirit, such character. Ethan Alagic would have preferred that his first A-League goal came in different circumstances and certainly a different finish. Let's head down to Max Burford on the pitch.